All right, folks, welcome back. This is Off the Edge. It's championship weekend, and we're here, and, the Rams are still in it. Seattle, you got the Patriots, and you got the Broncos. You got two teams out of the NFC West, and you got two teams that had the easiest strength of schedule in the league. Sometimes it's just how it works. But, man, what a wild week. Divisional round of the playoffs. I mean, the Broncos took down the Bills 33-30. There was a very controversial set of calls in the overtime. Seattle.
Did you agree with those, Jake?
This is what I would say about that. I agreed with the way they called the game until there's a blatant hold on Brandon Cook's arm. And to me, I feel like that has to be pass interference.
That was bad.
But he's used to that because, Stephon Gilmore did that in the Super Bowl and got away with it too. But Brandon Cooks got screwed, and then the catch thing, I feel bad for him, but I would also say that was an interception personally for me.
I think that was.
Yeah, I do. I think it was. My issue, and I think this was the biggest issue that McDermott had, is that they were rushing to move on to the next play. It's like, no, that's the biggest play of the game. Why are we expediting that review? You should be looking that over, And so, yeah, it just felt it fell off, man. The Bills played like garbage. Don't get me wrong. I mean, somehow they scored 30, but I mean, that they could have run away with the game, and James Cook fumbles inside the 20, and then you have Josh Allen just literally going, here you go. I don't know, just giving them 3 points at the end of a half like that with 2 seconds left.
Giving the ball away.
Yeah, there's just things like that. They didn't deserve to win it, but I did have issues with the calls. What about you, Cam? What were your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the referees can get in the way, but at the end of the day, we look at those takeaways, bro. And if you're giving the ball up, look at CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud was handing the ball like he was handing out hotcakes, on a Sunday afternoon after church, bro. You can't give the ball away that many times and expect to win football games. And so the fact that they did it didn't help. I know, Shakir, I know he had a touchdown in the end zone. They called it back. I had him as my top performer. And I still got him up here, Jake. I still got him up here because he was doing his thing. But just like you said, some of those Khalil Shakir, some of those calls took away touchdowns. It took away, and you go back to the Brandon Cooks piece. He had that ball snatched out of his hands. That was a good play by the defensive back. But like you mentioned right before that, that him grabbing his hand, that was tough. But hey, it's always best of luck next year,
53 penalty yards on the final drive, Cam. No one wants to see that. No one goes to the stadium and is like, man, I wish we saw more flags. No, no one thought that. Carl Sheffers, should be held accountable. His crew was not bad until it mattered, and then they were probably one of the worst I've ever seen.
And the NFL, they have a department for that, Jake. They have a referee department, so I'm sure they're getting dock points, but we don't see that. That's unfortunate things. Fans don't really see what goes down behind the shield sometimes. So, yeah, I hope, like you said, hopefully there's some learning lessons and they get better in the next year, because you can't do that in the playoffs, bro. Like you said, you can't drop the ball at the end zone.
Can't do it
if you're a referee or whoever it is. So, yeah, bro.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, this game didn't even need officiating because it was such a one-sided game. Officiating never would have mattered. Seattle won 41-6.
Oh, man. I had to turn it off at one point. That was brutal.
I watched the entire thing, and I was upset because I wanted a fun game. And I just felt like after the Broncos-Bills game, it left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, all right, let's see what Seattle and 49ers have to do. And, dude, the only thing I saw from the 49ers, the most fight I saw all night was the kicker, Eddie Pinheiro, trying to slide tackle. What?
Yeah, you gotta do it. You gotta do what he can.
On the first play of the game.
Yeah. Okay, so Jake, Rashid Shaheed. We talk about the Rams a lot. I always talk about Rashid Shaheed. They're like, hey, you gotta stop the guy. And now he's starting to pick up steam. Everyone's like, stop Rashid Shaheed. Well, Rams could have won that playoff game, or that was a game 13 if it weren't for him. Towards the end of the game, he returned that football for a touchdown, and it was all she wrote. So. Yeah, man. I might have to change my top performer to putting Rashid Shaheed up here, because just the way that he goes about doing his business. But I do have Kenneth Walker this week, Jake. I think the Rams are going to let's go into top performers real quick, Jake. We might as well do it while we're here. But Kenneth Walker had 100 yards against the Rams this previous game. So they're going to have to slow him down if they want to win. And I have a feeling Charbonnet's out. He's going to get most of the runs, but I don't think he'll get 100 yards this game, but I think he'll get around 60 or 70. It'll be a good game for him, but not enough to win it. He had, I think, 3 touchdowns against the 49ers. He had an absolute a showing, but I don't think he'll get that done against the Rams.
I got my top performer at quarterback. It's Jarrett Stidham.
Me too. I had him up there too.
Yeah, I everyone's counting this dude out. He's an NFL player. You know just as well as anybody. I mean, just being in the NFL means you're good enough. It doesn't. There are a lot of guys. I mean, I understand the quarterback position. It's probably not as much, right? Because some of those quarterbacks are like, oof. Like,
yeah. Yeah, but he's been around for a while. He's been around for a while though. He was calling the backup Brady. Like he has something to him.
That's the thing though. Jarrett Stidham has the aspect, like that angle, like a revenge angle. Like they drafted him and then they gave up on him. And then he also has the kind of nobody believes in me angle. And then he also has the 11-4 49ers, back in my first start, I put up 360 yards and 3 touchdowns on the Raiders. Like he was on the Raiders, and he went off. And he's done it before at the NFL level.
The Chiefs too, yeah.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I just saw a stat. I think so. The Patriots have lost 14 of the last 15 games in Mile High Stadium, and they're 0-4 at Mile High in the postseason. So, and on top of it, can I just be honest here? I wasn't overly impressed with the way Drake May played the last 2 weeks.
He was serving that football up, Jake. He was giving it away. J.K. Dobbins coming back to the Broncos, possibly.
Love that.
So
hopefully he plays. That would be great.
If the Broncos turn that football over, Jake, and Drake May gives it up, and Stidham doesn't turn the ball over.
That's a short field for a young quarterback that doesn't have a lot of experience, but like you want to make things easy on him. You put him on easy mode. And how do you put him on easy mode? You got Nick Bonito, you got Jonathan Cooper. You got those guys making plays.
Hufanga, Dreamwell.
Hufanga, guys forcing interceptions, fumbles, what have you. And if you can do that, you get short fields. I mean, he might not throw for 360 yards, but he might not have to. Like that to me is the recipe for the Broncos. And call me crazy. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to pick them here, but the Broncos went to the Super Bowl and won it with probably the worst Peyton Manning has ever looked in his career. I mean, he was he had fallen right off the hill. Like it was.
Thankfully, he had Von Miller on the other side. Von Miller on the other side made up for it, made it work out. And Jake, you mentioned the Broncos may not get it done today. They, or this weekend. But I got Stephon Diggs, my top performer at the receiver position. You talked about Drake May maybe not performing too well this whole playoff series. Well, he has a guy like Stephon and Boot to get him out of these situations. But I got Stephon Diggs being my top performer this week. Last week, he went 7 for 10, a touchdown and 68 yards. That was a nasty touchdown catch he had. I know the Cardi B thing, she was kind of going crazy and went viral, but you can't deny his body of work, Jake. He's been really impressive. He's had a journey, right? He's been traveling through from team to team, Vikings to the Bills, and then now to the Patriots. But what he's done has been exceptional. And I think he'll be a top performer for this week. How about you, Jake? Who do you got at the receiver or offensive position?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with Jackson Smith and Jigba there. Nice. Wide receiver. Yeah. I think this is a player that, he caught the potential game tying touchdown. Then they go for 2-point in overtime against the Rams the last time. But he hasn't had that like explosive game. And I do think he's going to get that. So, Emmanuel Forbes has done a great job covering him this year, only allowing 3 catches. Is he on him this week? Who's on him? Not really sure, but I would go Jackson Smith and Jigba. And then on the other side for running back, I'm going to go with the best running back remaining in the playoffs, and that's Kyren Williams. And I think people are finally starting to see it. That Bears game, Kyren carried the load. He had 2 touchdowns. He was big in the red zone. They've struggled to score in the red zone since, Devontae Adams got hurt. And so I thought he did a great job. He was good in pass pro. He was good in the receiving game.
Was he hurt in the second half, Jake? He kind of like slowed down towards what happened
I think he might have had a scare. They haven't really talked about it, but it looked like he got concussed. And then he came out of the game, and it was Blake Corum the rest of the way. But Kyron was so key and critical in that one. And in a game that the margin for errors are so slim and you win 20-17. I mean, Kyron was huge in that game. And
pass pro, everything, Jake. He was
the receiving game, especially because he doesn't really get utilized in the receiving game. So people are just like, oh, wow. He's really a natural receiver, and they just don't give him the opportunity. I think they will this week.
I saw that in the 49ers game, Jake, right after he fumbled that football across the goal line. He was catching the football after that, right? Matthew Stafford was like, hey, let's get your confidence up. I know you lost us in this game, but he was feeding them the rock a lot. And I was like, okay, he's figuring out a different part of his game. Ground game is great. His pass catching is solid. All around a great back. Jake, I'm going to go to the defensive side really quick. Cam Curl, just the way he's been playing football has been really impressive. I know we're sometimes leaning towards the Rams players, but just his productivity all year has been impressive. Jake, you look at the stats for the Rams, he's at the top of the tackle list every single time, and that reflects, right? He's leading tackles out of the safeties in the NFL. So just what he's done has been impressive. That game-clinching interception was awesome. I think he was on the show. It's like the Arena or whatever it is. They had that football show with him, and he was talking about how he read the stems and how he was he saw it ahead of time, right? He mentioned Audrey Pleasant being a great coach and how he really gets those guys prepared for the games the Saturday, the night before. And I had a chance to play under Aubrey Pleasant. He's been outstanding. So I'm not surprised of the success that we're seeing here. Cam Kitchens, Cam Curl, those defensive backs, Kello, that's your guy. So they're playing for great coaches. And to be honest, Jake, right, we look at Chris Shula, these guys got to enjoy him while they can, because I think he'll be a head coach somewhere else pretty soon. And the Rams got to win it now. You got to win it now while you have the best coaches in that room, the best players, and Cam Curl's benefiting from all that love. So that's who I got on the defensive side.
Yeah. I think I would say when it comes to like Chris Shula, I think he's going to end up with the Steelers from the vibe I'm getting. But I would agree with you. I mean, I think Aubrey Pleasant someday is going to be a head coach. I really do. So I'm glad you brought him up. But yeah, I'm going to go with just sticking with the offense here, the last one here. I'm going to go with tight end A.J. Barner. He's given the Rams some problems. He's one of those volume catchers. He's okay having 10 catches for 70 yards because that means he's had them in big moments on those third downs where Sam Darnold is like, oh crap, the pressure's coming. Where do I go? Oh, AJ's right there. I think Barner's going to have probably the best day best day because they both play on Sunday. Best day of any tight end, I think, because I think the Rams tight ends, it's kind of a collective effort. I think Barner's going to be kind of the one that has the best game. And I wouldn't be surprised if Hunter Henry's up there as well, but I'm going to go with A.J. Barner in this one.
I like that, Jake. My final defensive player, I realized a lot of my offensive guys, Jake, they were on the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm like, okay, let me back up from this, brother. So similar to what I did with the Bears, is I almost had Caleb Williams and Colston Loveland as my top performers, but I took them off, and the Rams won. So I'm going to do the same thing this week. I'm going to go Talanoa Hufanga. I know he had Dalton Kincaid called a touchdown on him last game when they played him, but I love his leadership. I love the way he plays the football game. And I think he'll be the top performer this week. He's more of a run stopper, Jake. So I'd imagine he's going to step up and make some tackles this week and make it do what it do against the Patriots. Ramondre Stevenson, he's running the ball really well. I think we're seeing from Ramondre, we saw at the beginning of the year. Jake, I remember he had like a couple fumbles like that week 4 or week 5. There were like 2 of them in one game. And then things switched after that. But I think we're seeing a stronger back in Ramondre. He ran the ball well against the Texans. So I think he'll be able to do, not say something similar against the Broncos, but he'll find his gaps and he'll find his way there. So, but I got Hufanga doing his job and making sure that Ramondre is slowed down a little bit. And I know I had Stephon Diggs as my top performer. So Hufanga, he has his hands full, but I think he'll show up this week.
Yeah, I mean, Hufanga's a good player, so that wouldn't really surprise me. As far as, on my defensive side, I got Nick Benito. Obviously, I've had him. He's one of my favorite players in the league. Week 1, yeah. I love watching him play, and I think he's going to get after Drake May. Ernest Jones at linebacker, I think he's going to make a lot of big-time plays.
Get that game.
Yeah, I really do. And then Christian Gonzalez, all he needed to do was just get confirmed, healthy, good to go. He passes the concussion test last week, and it's a good thing he did. They needed him against the Texans. He did a great job.
2 forced fumbles. He was doing his thing out there.
And then, last but not least, Quentin Lake, who only played for like 15 snaps against the Seahawks this season. He missed the last game. That's a big, big addition. We've already seen how important he is the last 2 games. You could try and fill in for a guy. We've learned this with Aaron Donald. You can try and fill in for him, but you can't replace somebody like a Quentin Lake. You cannot replace somebody like Aaron Donald. And I'm not saying Quentin Lake is the Aaron Donald of the secondary, but he's very important to this team. He's the heart and soul of this defense. He proved that when he was gone, and he's proved that since he's come back. He made some huge plays against the Panthers. Yeah. But last week, I saw it really kind of all come together. He's not just great against the run. He's not just going to have that big-time pass breakup on a 3rd down or a 4th down. Last week against the Bears, we saw a guy that put it all together, and he looks like he's back. He's ready to go. He might have the bulkiest, brace on that elbow you've ever seen, but that man is back. He had a great tackle, huge tackle, by the way. But I just
on the goal line, he speared him. That was sick. It's DeAndre Swift jumped over. Was it Kobe Durant? Maybe he jumped over Kobe Durant, and then Quentin Lake came in and.
I don't know why anybody would do that. I'm never putting my groin in harm's way like that.
Hey, no risk it, no biscuit. You saw
Darius
Mendoza.
Williams just took a helmet right to the groin. I'm like, good God, man. I just
hey, you got to put a cup on, brother. protect your marbles.
Yeah, clearly. Man,
that's hilarious. Yeah, good game though, bro. That Bears game, I'm not gonna lie, Jake. Caleb Williams has been absolutely impressive. The riskiness, the balls that he has when he plays football is impressive. It gives me like the Patrick Mahomes, like, why are you throwing that? And he throws it, he makes the play, they make the catch, and you're like, okay. But also live by the gun, die by the gun, right? If you're gonna make those risks and take those chances, unfortunately, a guy like Cam Curl's gonna pick it off and make your day not great. So but yeah, that was a really good game, man. These playoff games, this is, like I said, Jake, this has been the best year of football that I've witnessed in a while.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year. And, I want to point out something. As impressive as Caleb was, I was more impressed with the Rams' ability to go up against what I have been calling all week. And it sounds like a broken record because everybody's heard it that's watched my videos. But this was a tsunami of momentum. And in my opinion, football is the most momentum-based sport, I think, out there. And I think we've really seen it. Baseball, you can kind of see it. Hockey, you can definitely see it. Basketball is definitely up there. I think football is the most because, it's the biggest thing why, like, I've kind of changed my opinion now. Like, when you're on the road, maybe just take the points, right? Because it keeps the momentum on your side. Whereas if you miss the field goal, then really, but if you go for on 4th down, that's a turnover. Like, that's a huge momentum swing. So my biggest thing is, how on earth did the Rams, and I don't think there's too many teams in the league that would have found a way, how did the Rams 3-and-out going into overtime and then find a way to win after the Caleb Williams throw on 4th and 4 when the game was over? I mean, you just get one stop, game's over, you win, you're on to Seattle. But instead, you're in Chicago. It is snowing. You have Caleb run 40 yards backwards, and he completes that. It's probably the loudest that stadium has ever been, and you find a way to win. That just, to me, I don't know how many teams would have found a way to win that game.
I think it's McVey, Jake. I think McVey had that sound clip. He was like, dude, let's just erase what happened and we're going to win this game. We're on to the next one. It's more of a belief thing. When I had a chance to play underneath him, he paints the picture for you. He makes you believe it. It's like selling salt to a slug. The slug does not need the salt, but Sean's like, you know what? You're going to get this salt and you're going to live a great life, and the analogy being is he can do and convince a lot of people. And the way he convinced that team to win that football game when I thought it was done. I was looking at my family. I'm like, man, the Rams are done. Like, no more, Rams podcast until, the draft. But Sean McVay just gets the team going, man, and gets it done. So that was sick to see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that because you have the experience. I've never been around Sean McVay. I know he's been my guy.
What you see is real. What you see is real. What you see is real. You see it on the TV. It's like, he does that every single day. Like I'll give you a quick example.
Yeah.
It was Aaron Donald and Todd Gurley. He was like, Todd's gonna run for 2 touchdowns. Aaron's gonna have 3 sacks and win the game. And like he called it out. You know what I mean? And we went to the game and it happened. It's I think the art of manifesting and making sure that what you want to happen is going to happen, and being positive about it. There's going to be some shortcomings, but I think Sean McVay is really good at kind of short memory, turn the page, and keep it going. So someone said top coach for sure, bro. I think he's going to the Hall of Fame. It may be premature to say, but what he's doing is impressive, and can't say enough. I mean, that was cool to see.
Yeah, no, he's one of one, honestly. My biggest issue with him, play calling. I still think he's very inconsistent, and I think it's not that he can't do it. I think it's that he's too smart for his own good. I think he'll probably have the perfect plan. He'll probably have the perfect game plan. He'll probably have the perfect play, and he just overthinks it. Like when things are working, he's like he wants to switch it. We saw that against them. He wants to switch it before they figure it out. It's like just you keep your foot on the gas, and if they figure it out, then you make the change. Don't switch it beforehand. Don't anticipate them because you're giving teams too much credit. Not every team's going to be able to do that. But when it comes to Sean McVay as the leader of men, he is one of one. Like it's just I've been so impressed because most of my life, the Rams have just not been good. So
it's called spade a spade. They haven't.
They were the same old sorry ass Rams for a reason. Sean McVay joins this, organization, and I feel so good because ask anybody close to me, right around the 2016 season, November, and I started digging on the coaches, and everyone's like Kyle Shanahan and Matt Patricia, and I know Doug Marrone was out there, and I don't think anybody was pushing for Doug Marrone in this circle,
guy.
but yeah, Doug Marrone was there and McDermott, and all these names were coming up. Bill Cowher, John Gruden. I was like, I want McVay. Give me McVay. That's who I want, because I watched some interviews with him, and I'm like, nothing against Jay Gruden. He's probably a nice guy, but when I was watching the interviews, I'm like, who's the head coach here? You know what I mean? Like I'm watching Sean McVay, and I'm like that. Sometimes you have to make a tough decision, and the Rams did this when they won the Super Bowl. Dick Vermeil didn't come back, and that felt kind of unprecedented. Whatever. Dick Vermeil decides to retire, but they really pushed him out because they didn't want to lose Mike Martz because he would have gotten a head coaching job. He was the offensive coordinator. That killed them. That ended up killing they ended up going to another Super Bowl, and I know that, but people that I've talked to, they know like that were in that locker room that losing Dick Vermeil and Mike Martz is a great play caller. He was not a leader of men. And that is why that kind of dynasty just died, And so, I feel
Jake,
like
really quick in that situation too, a lot of times you have to have great players to overcome coaching, right? Like that's what Matthew Stafford does. And Matthew probably knows is like, okay, John's probably overthinking this. He wants to go to the right, but I know in his heart of hearts, we need to go to the left. So we're going to go to the left. So in situations like that, you need kind of like that balance. The overthinker, you need somebody who doesn't think as much. So there's a nice medium balance there. Sorry to cut you off, but I just had to say that for Sean. He needs that nice balance with him. I think Matthew Stafford is just that.
We don't really see it very often anymore. We really never saw it. The whole Dick Vermeil forcing into retirement. Then he comes back out. He actually never wanted to retire. He just got forced out. They tried to make it look nice. And he's like, you know what? I think I do want to coach. I'm going to go to the Chiefs. But, that whole thing, right? Maybe Washington. Well, yeah, not maybe. Washington definitely should have done the same thing. They should have been like, we're going to lose Sean McVay. Hey, Jay Gruden, appreciate everything that you've done, but we're going to stick with Sean McVay here, or even Kyle Shanahan. Or, they had so many head coaches on that staff, like potential head coaches, that it's ridiculous.
And that even goes to the Bills right now, right? We talked about this before with Brady, Coach Brady. Like, hey, if he can get Josh Allen going, why not keep him in the room? I know they're looking at other people. I know other things are going on. I know you mentioned it with the Lions and Ben Johnson. Like, why don't they just elevate Ben Johnson and get rid of Dan Kemp? Like, why don't they do that? So I do think that you got to make the right decision. It's unfortunate. A lot of times the GMs and these owners, it gets a little cloudy, brother. The players know what's up. You know what I mean? When they know they got a real one in there.
Like, I have no idea what was going on with the Ravens, but that's the thing. If John Harbaugh was let go this year, then this has been in the chamber for a bit.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, how do you let Mike McDonald leave your organization? You know what I mean?
Now he's crushing it. Yeah. Now, yeah. You got to retain talent, bro. You got to be good to people and make sure that they stay, because if not, things can change. I mean, look at the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles had great coordinators and they switched it up, and then now things are just falling apart over there. So,
speaking of a guy who's not a leader of men, good Lord.
Oh.
No one wants an offensive coordinator job over there because no one wants to work for him.
I mean, yeah, you see him beefing on the sideline with AJ Brown. It's like, bro, what is going on over there?
Dude, they don't look like the team that just won the Super Bowl. We'll just put it that way. Like, you know how the Chiefs just look like the team that won the Super Bowl? Andy Reid, they're all on the same page. Maybe Travis Kelce gets a little fired up here and there, but like for the most part, they're always on the same page.
Yeah,
The
Eric
Eagles
Bieniemy,
just
though,
look like
that's another
dysfunction.
question. I agree. And then Eric Bieniemy got re-signed back to the Chiefs. Jake, I did hear Eric Bieniemy when it comes to being a leader of a man. He's a little rough around the edges. You know what I mean? And so,
which is fine, because if he's in his offensive coordinator role, then that's good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're a coordinator and you're good at it, you don't just stop being good because it didn't work out as a head coach. You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing people forget. Great example of this is Steve Spagnuolo. Did not work out as a head coach for the St. Louis Rams. He goes and becomes a defensive coordinator. And you saw, I think he was with the Eagles a little bit. He goes to the Chiefs. He's been there for a long time.
Big rings. Yeah, big rings.
So, yeah, it's one of those things. But let's get into the first game here. Really interesting game because it's a really feel for Bo Nix.
Dude.
He looked good, man. He really did. And it's a shame. Sean Payton is to blame for that, by the way. It's just, I thought that call was terrible. How are you going to have your quarterback run like that?
Sean Payton.
How are you going to have your quarterback run like that? He broke his foot on that play.
Yeah.
That was stupid.
It's like, come on, bro. Sean Payton, it's a little questionable what he does sometimes. But you mentioned Bo Nix, man, being heartbroken for him. That's tough. I mean, you get so close. Your defense is cooking. Everything is going just right. And then you have that injury like that. That's super tough. So at this point, you just pray that Stidham can make it happen and push the guys through. But yeah, that's like a movie. You know what I mean? That's like a movie. Like, about to go to the championship and damn, I broke my foot. Like, and now I'm not in the game. My team lost or whatever that is. He can write a book at this point. That's brutal.
It was weird because they show it to him. They show you to him. Bo Nix on the sidelines, right?
Yeah.
And in that moment, none of us know what happened. He's just screaming, and it's like, didn't look like he was giving himself up. Like, they weren't, he wasn't trying to, they're about to kick the game-winning field goal. And he's just like, like, whatever. And now you know, right? It's one of those things like you didn't know, but now you know, and it kind of adds perspective. And like, it's why, like, when he was interviewed after the game, he didn't really look like he was in the best of spirits, despite the fact this is the biggest win of his career.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was unfortunate. And Sean Payton with some of the weirdest answers you'll ever hear. Like, he's a tough cookie. He what did he say? He said, he actually told me he had he had this injury twice before, and if I knew that, we wouldn't have drafted him. And I think he was trying to make it like kind of like a funny thing, but it didn't land at all,
Yeah. He's a little rough around the edges. It's like that uncle that comes to the function and he drinks a little bit too much, and it's
starts
like
telling you how he feels about the world. It's like, what? I really didn't need to know any of that, but cool.
Talk about politics,
the religion. It's like, all right, keep it over there. Keep it over there,
years.
No, I hear you. So yeah, this game should be fun, Cam. I know a lot of people are already out on this game. I do have the Patriots winning. Spoiler alert. Yeah. I do think they're going to win. I think it's really tough for the Broncos, but I think Jarrett Stidham's going to give them a chance to win. And I think that's all you can ask for, because that's something CJ Stroud did not give to the Texans last week. And the Texans had the best defense I've seen since Legion of Boom. So that was actually really frustrating to me. Not that I'm really rooting against the Patriots. I don't hate them like I used to, back when they used to bully the Rams. Although if they win a third Super Bowl against the Rams, then all bets are off there.
Then there's smoke. But,
But like, hear me out. Like, I don't have any issue with them. Whatever. I think Stafford's the MVP. If Drake May wins it, it's not like it's gonna I'm not going to be like losing sleep over it. All right. I'm losing
But
sleep as it is.
But we're gonna be pissed. We're gonna be pissed though, because it's like,
Yeah,
bro, come on.
yeah, definitely, definitely. But if the Rams, come away with the Super Bowl, I'll take the Super Bowl over the MVP if it was one or the other. That said, okay, they should not have won that game. The Texans defense dominated that game. Like,
well, the
CJ
Patriots defense did too, Jake. I will say that. Like Carlton Davis, he played the best. I mean, I played with him at the Buccaneers. He played the best football I've seen. But back to your point, I'm gonna pass it back to you, Jake.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud has to be investigated for what he was doing out there.
Well, I mean, you have Ryan Clark saying to everybody, no, you can't take him out of the game. It's like, all right, we know who your agent is, represents both of you guys. Come on now. I wasn't born yesterday.
Yeah.
Davis Mills, if he plays that game, and you and I have talked about Davis Mills in a positive light before, they win that football game. They do.
Yeah. I was saying that in the second quarter, Jake. I was saying that in the second quarter. I was like, Dad, they got to take him out. They're going to put Davis Mills in. And
I don't know, man.
I wish they did it. But D'Amico, right? It's like, for D'Amico, it's like, man, we went with this guy.
Is he too loyal? Like, is he loyal to a fault, would you say? That was the vibe I was getting.
Well, Jake, they did. I was about to say they got there on CJ's back, but then I'm like, wait, Davis Mills won 3 games.
See, that was the thing. Like, Ryan Clark was like, he got him there. He didn't get him there. He's been average. Since you guys got rid of Bobby Slowick, he has not been the same quarterback.
Jake, the way he was giving up the football like that, Jake, that was just a little surprising to me. Like I mentioned, like
that
Carlton Davis,
ghost.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, Jake, he threw 4 interceptions, but 2 to the same guy. Like, what are we doing? Are you sports betting back here? What kind of deals do you got going on, bro? Because this is Jake. My wife.
Woody Marks fumbling, by the way, near the. Oh my god, in the red zone, like he barely got hit. Oh, well, first off, he's losing his footing, and he's like stumbling, bumbling, all that. Then he gets popped, and the ball comes out, and you're like, that was their chance. Like that was. It's funny. 2 running backs, same day, by the way. Or not the same day, but same weekend, 2 running backs fumble in the red zone, and both their teams lost, Texans and Bills. So
yeah, and I do think the Broncos. So you said you feel like the Patriots are going to win this game. I think I'm going to go with the Broncos, Jake.
Oh,
I got to go the other way. I got to go the other way on this one. The Patriots. If I were to put money down, I'm going Rams-Patriots 2018 rematch. If I'm putting money down, but there's no money involved here. But just for the fun of things, I'm gonna go with Broncos. Just because also I got a homie Mercedes Lewis who plays on the Broncos, so I'm putting the good vibes out there.
Okay,
going the Broncos. Want to see the Broncos get it done. For Bo Nix, like this is a story. Like damn, I hurt my foot, but my team, prevailed. And they made it happen. They got to the championship. And you go back even to the Nick Foles story, right? About the Patriots, his post that he put up there. It can happen. It's possible. So I got the Broncos winning this one, Jake, 24-21. Drake May fumbles the ball, throws interceptions a little bit too much. He doesn't get the MVP, gets the offensive MVP of the year. They don't make it to the championship. Broncos succeed. Matthew Stafford, MVP of the NFL.
Damn. I got Patriots 22-18. I think they're going to ride with Ramondre Stevenson at the end of this game, and I think they're just going to run out the clock, and I think that's how it's going to end. But I think, Stidham's going to keep him in the game. He's not going to blow you away, but he's going to blow you away if you think he's as bad as some of these people think. And, this is part of my issue with today's society and how, like for instance, what's his Madden rating? Jarrett Stidham.
Right, probably.
I'm gonna look it up 77. Right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it's a 65. That's what I'm gonna say, which is ridiculous.
JK, while you're looking that up, I'm gonna add in too. J.K. Dobbins is coming back, like we talked about at the top of the show. That's the reason why I think this thing's gonna change around a little bit. But
so he's a 62. That's my point.
Oh,
that's
damn,
the point I'm making. 65.
yeah.
So like you said, 77. I don't know if I put him at 77, but I put him at like a 72. Like any backup quarterback, like next in line. I'm not talking third string, but backup quarterback is at least a 70 overall. I think that's fair. 65 is like a passing grade. Anything below 65, you're saying they're a below average, like poor player. They're not good. They're a replacement level. They're not good. I don't agree with that. And this is this is my thing. Think about how many people play Madden. Think about how many
Yeah.
people know Jarrett Stidham in general. Probably not many.
Yeah.
You know, we know him.
Yeah.
I remember him coming out of Auburn. He also played at Oregon, I'm pretty sure, and that's how he knew Bo Nix. But yeah, I mean, I've known
He was
Stidham
number one
for
recruit
a
out
while.
of high school. The number one recruit out of high school. It was like the same year as Joe Burrow, all the guys. I mean,
he's got
one,
the
one,
arm
one thing
talent.
one thing I will say, Jake, though, is Sean Payton knows how to develop quarterbacks, even backup quarterbacks. You look at Taysom Hill and Drew Brees, played against them. Though, I mean, those guys were elite at their position. Sean Payton, he expects excellence. And I think Jarrett Stidham is going to be able to execute this offense, make this offense move in a great fashion. They're going to execute. They're going to score because they got a great backfield in R.J. Harvey and J.K. Dobbins. And Courtland Sutton's going to do his thing. I mean, they're going to cook. Pastor Tane, I mean, they're going to cook, Jake. It's going to be a good night for the Broncos.
Yeah, and then we got our last game here, the Rams, Seahawks, and we'll wrap up the show. Man, the trilogy. The Seahawks are going to have to literally beat their two biggest rivals 3 times. They're going to have to play them 3 times this year to go to the Super Bowl. And it's in Seattle. The Rams have to go back to Seattle. The last time they went there, they lost 38-37, blew a 16-point lead with about 8 minutes to go.
Rashid Shaheed.
I think the Rams are going to win this game. I really do.
So.
And I think it's going to be wicked close. 3 of the last 4 meetings Sean McVey's team has had against any Mike McDonald defensive coordinated or head coach team, 3 of the last 4 meetings have gone to overtime. So the only one that didn't go to overtime was 21-19. So just kind of putting it in perspective.
Rams had 4 picks that game too. So, and that's the other thing. I think Cam Curl mentioned to Jake. He was like, Sam Darnold knows what we do to him, right? When he's at the Vikings, the defensive line got after him. He threw 4 interceptions. So we talk about seeing ghosts, Jake. I think he's going to be seeing ghosts this week. It's the NFC Championship. I don't know if he's going to get it done. What I will say too, Jake, is the Byron Young and Jared Verse. We've been talking about the Broncos, and we've been talking about, Hunter, Daniil Hunter and what the Texans got going on. But those 2 guys, they were really shining at the beginning of the year. They still shine, Jake, right? But don't forget, Byron Young, he was on track to get 8 to 9 sacks. He was at 8 sacks, I think, and he almost had 9 consecutively. So this is one of the better groups on that defensive side, on the edges. And I think Sam Darnold's going to have a rough day, brother. I think those guys are going to really show up. I think they're going to score some touchdowns on the defensive side. And, man, I got, Jake, this game, 27-24 Rams. Rams to the Super Bowl, brother. It's going to be a good one.
I got 24-23 Rams. I think it's going to be wicked close. I think what we're looking at is a game. I could see either team winning by 10 if they get out quick enough and then, they have the momentum. But I do think the Rams win this game 24-23. I think we're going to see a game where Stafford's able to throw the football. Puka Nacua is able to catch the football and do his damage, his usual damage against Seattle. I think Devontae Adams is going to catch a touchdown. Yeah. I think Kyron Williams is going to be able to run the football, and I think the Rams are going to be able to stop.
And Blake Corum.
Yeah, and I think the Rams are going to be able to stop the Seattle Seahawks from running the football because, look, I'm not Charbonnet's biggest fan, but what he does is he gives you a different look. No, he is out. He's out for the season. Yeah. So he gives you a different look, and so when as a defensive guy, when you have a different body composition altogether at running back, I mean, you have to kind of guard differently. You have to play defense differently. Your personnel might even be different. Yeah. So it's one of those things where they're kind of one-dimensional now. As much as I love K9, and I think Kenneth Walker is one of the more underrated running backs in football, and he's very explosive. The Rams have been doing a good job against that. You look at, he's similar in play style to DeAndre Swift. And I thought the Rams had some moments where they gave up maybe more yards than they wanted to versus Swift, but when it mattered, they stopped him. They made some really nice plays. And you look at Kyle Monangai, they completely shut him down. He had 1 explosive run. I think it was 13 yards out of his 36 on 13 carries. So this is a defense now with a healthy Puna Ford. I mean, everyone's healthy now except for Akello. But you have Quentin Lake back and everything, and we're starting to see the dividends that's paying. But you have a 13 personnel grouping that you only used 5 to 10% of the time last week. part of me feels like they didn't use it because they were bottling it up for this game.
Yeah.
And
Jake Ferguson, our guy Ferguson, I think him and Matthew Stafford, they got to connect at some point, Jake. I think they've been missing each other all year. I mean, there's touchdowns that were a little bit too high. The balls get the ball thrown too far. One hit his hands. I think last game it dropped. I think this game they have to connect, Jake. It's been too long for them not to. I know it's his first year, but he has the talent. He has the speed to do it. I think he's going to be the dark horse for this Rams team. I know Kobe Parkins had a game-winning touchdown against the Panthers. Higbee's had his shine. I know he's 10 years in the game, but I think it's Ferguson's time to shine, and I think he's going to be the dark horse here. And Jake, where's Tutu Atwell at? I mean, is he hurt? Is he dressing out? Like, what is going on?
I love that you mentioned this because he was inactive last week, and part of it, Sean McVey said that it had to do with special teams, but you paid him $10 million. So, like, what I would do, and I don't know if they'll do it because they never use him. I love to see Jordan Whittington getting used last week.
Yeah.
But, no, I think when you watch this team, and I saw Chris Sims talk about it, and I really feel this way as well, is that the wide receivers are a little overrated. Because people talk about it, they use it against Stafford, they use Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. He doesn't have Devontae Adams when he was 27, okay? He doesn't have that like third gear Devontae Adams. He's probably got the second gear. He's still very, very talented player. Still probably, he's probably still a top 10 receiver. But that said, he's not the same Devontae Adams. And then on top of that, Puka Nacua isn't Tyreek Hill. Like, Puka Nacua wins in different ways. So,
blocking,
my biggest thing is that, like, they don't have a Tyreek Hill. And because of that, teams are now more, like, they're opting to play more man coverage. And I feel like they need a clear-out guy. And they can even throw the clear-out guy, but for whatever reason, we didn't see a lot of Xavier Smith the last 2 weeks when he was all of a sudden like a big key component to this offense, and we're not seeing Tutu Atwell. I have to wonder, one of them we're going to see them because you can start like rolling with that dagger concept, with one of them at wide receiver. And really the whole point is that you're trying to free up like over the middle, underneath. And Stafford, the way he is, I mean, he's surgical when you give him time and when you play zone against him. But when you play man, as surgical as he can be, it's up to the actual receiver to make that catch in contested catch situations. And I think that's kind of been the issue for the Rams in a lot of the drops that we've seen this year. It's like you throw to Puka Nacua, he's coming down with it. The others, there's been a lot of drops for Matthew Stafford, a lot more than Drake May, believe it or not. So, we're always hearing about how Drake May has no receivers, but that one-handed diving catch by Kayshon Boutte, I mean, hey, he can play.
Yeah. He can play. Yeah, Jake. And like you mentioned, are we going to see them this game? Someone dropped in the chat, they're saving the playbook. I think they need to pull out all the stops because
I think we will see Atwell.
Blake Horn. Okay. Got to see Atwell.
I think we'll see Atwell. I think we'll see more Kyron Williams in the passing game as well. And I think we're going to see a lot of Puka Nacua in the slot. And we saw when you are having a hard time doing anything and you get to those third and shorts, dude, just go to Puka every time. Just go to Puka every time. I've not seen one team. Like, I don't remember a time on third down where he's open and just drops the football. I mean, he's always open on third down. I mean, you look, 3rd and 6, most pivotal 3rd and 6 of the season, most pivotal play of the season. No one was talking about this. 3rd and 6, they call a timeout, they go back, like, okay, no big deal, like, this is our season right here, potentially, and you got Dennis Allen coming out, and he's showing blitz, and it's really like, okay, this is not they're not backing down, like, this is actually going to be a blitz, so they send that casino blitz, and it leaves Puka Nacua wide open. They didn't actually guard him at all, they're doing that on 3rd and 6, and so he's catching, like, a quick, it's just a quick curl route, and then he's just running. Yeah. This is like
well, I think one of the linebackers didn't drop, Jake. They both rushed. One of the linebackers didn't drop, and they didn't get to him. But, Jake, really quick before we jump off, Jake, I know we're coming at time.
Yeah.
Braden Fisk on the defensive side. I got to shout out the defensive side, but I think he's going to have a hell of a game. And I'm going to talk about Jared Verse and Byron Young, but Braden, I think he's going to really show up this week. I know you mentioned Poodle 4, but Braden, he's going to be the guy on the defensive side. Of course, Nate Lamb is going to show up, Cam Curl, but Braden Fisk, just want to shout him out a little bit, Jake, because there's a lot of stuff going on that defense, but just want to give him some more love.
Fisk fan, so I'm with you on that. Kingpin.
Big Fisk.
Kingpin, man. Yeah, Big Fisk. How about that? Number 55 coming to a living room near you. Or if you're at the game, I guess, just right there in front of you. But, that's going to do it. You and I both have the Rams. We split on the AFC Championship, Patriots and Broncos. I think the winner of the NFC Championship is going to be the Super Bowl winner. I do feel like this is the Super Bowl. It just feels like the gap between these teams is just massive. Yeah. I think the NFC is playing in a completely different league. These two teams, anyway, are playing in a completely different league. And you have one team that's played one of the toughest schedules. You have another that's played a pretty decent schedule and has really dominated most of the teams. You have the other two that have played easy schedules. And like I've said, I mean, Drake May is a really good talent, and I like him. But one thing I've noticed is against like big time, defenses, he gives it up. He's struggled, man. But anyway, that is going to do it. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Off the Edge. We're out until next week when we'll discuss the Super Bowl, potential head coaches, and all that jazz. So that's it. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yes, sir. Peace.